Welcome back to the She Thrives Influential Women podcast. I am your host, Lori Murphy, and I am an empowerment coach for women, award-winning published co-author, writer of the She Thrives column in the Rochester Women's Magazine, as well as a public speaker. And it is so great to be back after being away for 10 days. This is the first podcast episode that I'm putting out for about 2 weeks, and it's awesome to be able to be back with you all today. My husband and I traveled on the Celebrity Beyond cruise line and just had an amazing trip. We went to St. Martin, we went to Dominica, Grenada, Barbados, Antigua, and the the people on the island went above and beyond to make sure that we had an amazing time in their homeland and really showed us, the beauty of their home. But we also had an amazing time on the cruise ship. You are talking about thousands of workers taking care of at least 3,000 people, without skipping a beat. And I just want to give a shout out to the Celebrity Beyond and the Celebrity family, because a lot of what we don't realize as travelers is many people, you know, we don't realize that the people that are working on these ships are on these ships for months. They're working 12 plus hours days, and they are working 7 days a week straight without a day off, without a weekend off. A lot of times when we come into port, they're still working. If they don't have to work, they might go and take a nap in their rooms because that's their only downtime. Otherwise, they are boom, boom, boom from the moment their shift starts, the day they get on the boat, until it ends, which is typically, 6 to 9 months later. They are away from their homes, they are away from their families, and they are just doing what they need to do to be able to provide for their families, to provide for their livelihoods. And I just want to say thank you to all of them for everything that they do to make sure that us as the travelers and the tourists are having the amazing time that we were so lucky to have while on this ship for 10 days. So if you go on a cruise ship, and it doesn't matter what cruise line you are, please be kind to the people that work there. Let them know that you appreciate them. Let them know that, that you value everything that they're doing for you, and make sure that you take good care of them just as much as they're taking care of you, because they don't get the luxuries of having weekends off or being able to clock out at the end of our 8-hour workday and go home to our families. They're doing text messaging and video chats with their wives, their husbands, their children, while they are trying to provide for them and give them something close to what we are so fortunate to have in our lives, right? So I just got to give a shout out to Celebrity Beyond, Celebrity Cruise Lines altogether, all cruise lines, um, for the incredible, incredible job that they do to give us, our time to have fun and relax, right? So I just had to say that before I went into the podcast itself. Many of you may be new to this podcast. I want to welcome you. Just a little bit about me. I am, as I said, I'm an empowerment coach for women. I've co-authored a couple books. I'll get into my latest one, that just is released as of this week, in just a few moments. But my journey began after about a little over 13 years ago, when I entered the world of sobriety. My journey in recovery from alcoholism has really opened the doors to a beautiful journey of healing, growth, self-discovery, and giving me the opportunity to have clarity to hear what my true purpose was in this world, and that is to be of service to others. And every day I wake up and I strive to live my purpose. Um, and some days it's not always easy, right? Like there's always setbacks, or there's moments of doubt that might creep in, but you do what you can to work through that. And the purpose of this podcast is to help you in your journey, to help you be able to thrive, to be able to live your purpose. And I love to bring amazing, highly influential women onto this podcast so they can share their stories in all different areas, as well as being able to share my journey and what's worked for me and to try to bring positive influence, love, and light into this world. And as I mentioned before, just to give you a little heads up, I'm going to reach over here, and this is the latest book, this latest anthology, Warrior Women. It is the number 3 of a incredible series, which really is more than a book. This book is a legacy. We're taking life lessons and we're turning them into our purpose. And there are, several women in this book alone that have such incredible stories where they share the one moment that things really changed for them, right? Their turning points, their transformation. And there's 2 other series of this book that have other stories of highly encouraging, empowering women. So Warrior Women, Volume 3, this book is now available. You can reach out to me to get your hands on it. I would love to be able to get you this book as well as offer a special gift when you purchase this book. I'm offering my free downloadable PDF of the Confidence Code workbook so that you can, work through some steps of building confidence. I also want to offer you an opportunity to have a 1-hour strategy call where we can try to come up with some strategies to help get the momentum going in starting your journey of whether it's building confidence, overcoming fear, wanting to get that motivation and drive to start your health and wellness journey. That I'm offering with the purchase of this book. The book is $25. You can get it through me. Like I said, you just reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook. You can reach me on my email address. You can reach out to me through my website. All of that information will be in the description of this podcast, as well as the link to my free Facebook group, the She Thrives Together Facebook group. It's a free community of women where we uplift each other and support each other. I would love to have you. So click the link and, ask to join, and I will happily, happily approve you into the group. Um, but without further ado, let's dive into what I want to talk about today. And this topic is coming from basically a conversation that I was having the other day with a coworker, and we were just telling stories from when we were younger, from when we were in high school, or just, in earlier age times in our lives. And I realized that within my story, there was a lot of self-sabotage, and I've kind of already knew that, but it really just kind of was like every time I shared a certain story, it kind of was like a punch in the gut, like, wow, that could have been a really good situation for me or something that was really positive, healthy, or happy. But I sabotaged it. I sabotaged it because I didn't know my value. I didn't believe I was worth it. I was full of self-loathing and had very low self-esteem that I just every time something good came my way, I did something to destroy it. And alcohol did not help in that whatsoever. The more I drank, the worse that got. So um, I just wanted to put the book back on the shelf. So I want to talk about self-sabotage. How many of you can relate to that? How many of you can honestly take a look at stories in your past or something that might have happened even yesterday where it could have been something good that you find yourself self-sabotaging because of fear or something, along those lines. You know, these moments when you're on the right path, but then you suddenly pull back, or you procrastinate or you convince yourself that you're not ready, that's what we're calling out today. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to call ourselves out and be like, this is what I do. And I'm going to give you three simple tips that might help you in overcoming self-sabotage. So let's talk about these three powerful steps in overcoming self-sabotage. And the first one is identifying the root cause. Self-sabotage isn't random. It's not something that just kind of like comes out of nowhere. It comes from fear. It comes from limiting beliefs or old habits that no longer serve you, right? So, are you afraid that you're going to fail? Are you afraid that you're going to succeed? Are you afraid that you might not be lovable or good enough or whatever? Whatever it is that you might be telling yourself that's keeping you limited, that fear, that negative self-talk, you know, what is it that you're afraid of? What is it that you are trying to avoid, right? Maybe deep down you just don't believe you deserve things that, that you're working toward. Like you don't deserve the promotion at work because somewhere along the line someone told you that you weren't deserving of that and you started to believe that. Or you don't deserve a loving relationship and a partner to, you know, share your life with because you don't think that you're good enough, right? You don't deserve it. I can relate to that. I used to self-sabotage relationships all the time because I didn't feel that I was deserving. I didn't have a lot, I had no self-love. I had no self-worth. I just felt like I was coasting along in life, feeling like a disgrace. And I looked at myself every morning I got up and I just hated what was looking back at me. And there was a point in my life where I didn't feel I even deserved to be on this planet. Like my existence wasn't even worth it. And anytime something good came into my life, I would do something that would destroy it. And in that process, not only did it hurt myself, I hurt a lot of people I cared about because I didn't have the capability of seeing my worth or value. And I certainly didn't see how anybody could love someone like me because I didn't even love someone like me. And I had to take a look at that. And when I got sober, I started to look at these things. And when I started to kind of like share some of the stories from back in those days when I was just in that really ugly place, it was just like, wow. I even said, I'm like, you know what? I could have genuinely been happy in that situation or with, but I didn't allow myself that because I didn't like, I really didn't think I deserved it. And because I didn't think I deserved it, I would do something destructive, and I'm going to ask you to take a moment and I want you to ask yourself what patterns keep you showing up in your life? What are your patterns? Do you back out of opportunities? So if you have an opportunity to apply for a new job that you know would be a great step forward in the growth of your career, but you hold yourself back, do you start strong but quit before the breakthrough? Like perfect example. I used to start strong on a lot of things. My cat is jumping up here and it's trying to crawl on my laptop. But I can remember times where it's like I would start strong in something that I was like all gun for, hold for. I started going back to school. I was going to go to school to be a dental hygienist and I went strong and I just, something inside me was just like, yeah, I'm not smart enough for this. I would go to chemistry class, and chemistry was not my strong subject. I struggled with chemistry, and I tried taking it 3 times, and the 3 times that I would take it, I would I would give up because I didn't believe that I was smart enough to to understand it. And the thing is that it's not that I wasn't smart enough. It's just I will be honest with you, when you start putting letters with numbers, you've lost me, right? My brain isn't equipped to comprehend it. Had I applied myself a little bit more and took advantage of the resources in front of me to help me understand it, I sure as shit could have passed that course with flying colors, but I didn't believe that. So I sabotaged and I gave up before I could even show myself that I could actually do it, and recognizing the reasons and actions why, right? Like why behind your actions is the first step to breaking the cycle when you can come up with that. So when you figure it out, like for instance, like trying to, giving up on chemistry before you could even show yourself that you can actually do it because you believed that you weren't good enough. Where did that come from? I mean, I had been told at times in my life that I wasn't smart enough to accomplish things. If I remember I was at a point in my life where I was thinking about maybe becoming a volunteer paramedic. My older sister was. She was amazing at it. My older sister was also a trauma surgeon in the military, or not sure, a trauma surgeon. Oh my God, a trauma nurse. She was a trauma nurse in the army. And my older sister is made for that kind of stuff, right? Like she's amazing. And maybe trauma wasn't something that I would have been able to handle well. I would never know because someone told me that I was not smart enough. Like you had to be book smart in order to do something like that. And I believed that and I never even tried it, you know. I had been told that, I better marry somebody rich because I'll never amount to anything. I struggled in high school. I used to do very well in school, but I will say that when my parents' marriage started to fall apart and my household life started to go into a very negative direction, I I became depressed and disconnected, and that was that. And I didn't apply myself anymore. I didn't try. So my grades plummeted, and therefore I started to believe that I was not smart enough, that I was stupid, you know. Um, and that was what I carried with me when I went into my college education. And being in a different place in my life, when I started school with the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, I proved myself time and time again how I can do what I put my mind to, that I was smart, that I was capable because I passed that program, that 1 year program that I was in with flying colors. But I applied myself and I believed in myself and I had worked to get myself to a place where I had that confidence and I was no longer self-sabotaging. I was no longer self-sabotaging myself with having a loving relationship. I was cynical for a long time. I didn't believe that I was worth having settling down or I can remember there were many times where I was like, marriage isn't made for me. Relationships aren't made for, they're not for me. Like, I thought I could do it, but I guess I'm just not good enough to have it. So I just kind of marched along in life, self-sabotaging opportunities. And until I got to the place where I stopped doing that, I wasn't going to be able to meet somebody who I could have a lasting, loving relationship with. And now I have a husband that I've been married to for almost 3 years. And, it's not always rainbows and butterflies and it's not always easy, but we do what we have to do to try to work through things and become a team, right? Like you navigate some different challenges in marriage, but I had to stop self-sabotaging and believing that I was worth love and I was worth happiness, right? So step two is rewiring your mindset. Well, how do you do that? So once you identify the root, it's time to shift the self-talk. So if you're finding yourself saying things like, I'm not capable of achieving this, or, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, whatever that negative thing is that you're telling yourself, this is where you start replacing that negative talk with something positive. Your brain believes what you tell it. So if you're telling your brain that, if you're constantly saying that, I am, a money magnet, and you're doing affirmations and you're convincing your brain that you're already, you know, making, how do I say this? Because I have it in my mind. So I'm just trying to make sure I word it correctly. So it's like, how you hear those affirmations where it's like, I am you know, financially abundant, right? Your brain doesn't know what your bank account looks like. You know what your bank account looks like, right? But your brain doesn't necessarily know it. So if you're constantly telling yourself that you're financially abundant, you will see a big shift in how your bank account looks, because you'll start to believe that you can achieve the goals that you want to achieve, and things will start to flow in much more easily. I do believe in that because I see it, right? So your brain believes what you're telling it. So keep saying it, right? Um, Saying things like, I always mess up. Well, you can certainly change the way you're talking to yourself. You know, so saying things like, I am capable of growth and change. Saying things like, I follow through with my commitments. I deserve success as much as anyone else. You will start to, the more you say it, the more you start to believe it. And the more you start to really truly see that you are capable, right? Like, because now you're just retraining that thought process. So write these affirmations down and say them out loud every single day. The more you rewire your thoughts, the more your actions will follow. That is why when you say to yourself, I am financially abundant, the more you say it, the more the steps you take to be financially abundant, but the more action you put in, the more that will follow. And that is where you're able to start, having the abundance come in more and more, because you're taking more action to make that happen, because you're building that confidence to be able to take those steps. Right. If you're sitting here telling yourself that I am financially abundant, but you're sitting on your couch playing video games and you're not doing anything to attract, to build your financial, situation, to become more abundant, then no, you're not going to bring that it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen by osmosis. I hate to break it to you. You have to take action steps to do it. So when you're constantly telling yourself that you deserve it, and you start to believe it, you build the confidence to take the steps necessary. It's not always easy, right? Like with building a business, like building a coaching business, there are a lot of things that I am not comfortable doing that I have to do in order to make that happen. I like to self-sabotage sometimes with that, right? Like part of growing a coaching business is reaching out to people, right? Like messaging people online. I don't like to do it. And here's why. Because I never want people to feel like I'm pressuring them into a sale. I get messages in my inbox every day on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my shit. And that turns me off, right? When somebody gets into my inbox and they're saying, "Hi, Lori," or I've had this, "Hi, Murphy." They call me by my last name, then I'm just like, nope, not even. But they go right into like, this is, I have this program where you're going to make 10K a month and blah, 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 blah. Are you interested? They've not asked how I am. They've not started a conversation. They've done nothing to even have an interest in me as a person. And so, therefore, I don't engage because that just turns me off. I don't want people to feel that way. And I do get a lot of ghosting. Like, I get a lot of people who either don't reply to me or they start to reply to me and then they just kind of fall off. And I instantly go into this place of they feel like I'm violating them. They feel like I feel like I'm, bothering them. I feel like they're not interested or X, Y, and Z. And then I just don't follow. I will find myself not following up. I will find myself, I'm working through this, right? Um, I'll find myself not doing the outreach because I don't want people to feel uncomfortable. I don't want them to feel like I'm trying to sell something to them. If I talk to somebody and they see value in our conversation and they want to go a little bit deeper in what working with me looks like, that's awesome. But that's that's not what I'm here for. Yes, I have this business, but it's also my mission. And in order for me to achieve my mission, I need to be connecting and I need to be growing connections and building relationships with women who, I want to have in my life. So if I'm reaching out to you, it's because I want to get to know you. It's because we've been on Facebook, with each other now for 5 years and I've never even had a conversation with you, right? Like I see what's going on in your life, you see what's going on in mine, but yet we've never had a conversation. And that doesn't feel right either, right? So it's like I will tell myself that I am a bother or people don't want to talk to me, or I will tell myself something negative to keep me from doing it. And then 4 months have gone by and I haven't had a conversation with anybody new or built any new relationships. And I'm not progressing forward because I'm telling myself that there's no value in what I'm doing. And I am currently working through that self-sabotage. And my intention behind the messaging and the reaching out is to get to know somebody. Maybe there's something that I might be able to offer them that may be able to help improve their day, right? They may be having a bad day, but maybe I can show them some love and light and just let them know that I see them and I hear them and they're doing freaking awesome. If that's my purpose for that message for that day, then that is what it is, right? Like we all need that encouragement, and that's the mission. That's the reason I do what I do. And if somebody wants to sign on as a client and work with me and hire me to, be a key factor in their journey and in their growth, then that is a huge honor. And I am so grateful to have that opportunity. But I'd much rather know who you are. So I have to lead with that. I have to lead with that mindset of I am a good, loving, caring person, and my mission is to show these women that they are valuable, important, and loved, seen, and heard. And I believe in them. And that's it. That's it. I lead with that, then I'm not self-sabotaging anymore and leading with the negative belief of, well, they don't want to talk to me. They don't want to hear from me. Oh, they think I'm trying to get money out of them. No, no. Like I said, I believe that all things will come in time, but you can't put a price tag on connection and relationship. You just can't. And the last and final step is take small committed actions. So the biggest way to fight self-sabotage is taking making commitments to yourself to take action steps. So prove yourself wrong with action. If you tend to procrastinate, try to give yourself the commitment of just 10 minutes a day to be focused on work, right? Or 10 minutes a day to go for a walk around the block if you want to get in better shape and live a healthier lifestyle, lose weight, right? You want to lose weight. You're not happy with how you feel or how your clothes fit. And you'd like to shed off that 10, 15 pounds, but you're still sitting on the couch with a tub of ice cream, watching Grey's Anatomy, right? And you're just not taking, and you just keep procrastinating, be like, well, I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, I'll do it next week. I'm going to start on April 1st. That's my start date. And April 1st comes and you're like, I'm just tired today. So I'll start on April 2nd instead. You're self-sabotaging. Maybe because deep down inside you feel like you're not, you know, you'll never achieve the goal, right? Like I'm never going to be able to lift weights. I'm never going to be able to lift, 30 pounds. I'm never going to be able to, you put on a workout video and you're like, I'll never be able to do that move. Screw that. Like, I don't look like that girl, blah, blah, blah. I'll never get there. And you're just constantly telling yourself that you'll never get there. You'll never be able to do it. You're not worthy. You're not valuable, whatever it is you're telling yourself. And I can assure you that if you just commit to 10 minutes, that's really all you need is 10 minutes. You will see the progression. And next thing you know, you will be lifting 30 pounds. You will be doing that move that workout instructor on YouTube is doing. And you're like, holy shit, like I feel better. I feel better. You put on your pair of pants that, you had that you had a hard time zipping up. And now you can zip up no issue. It's been a month of just doing 10 minutes a day. And you're like, I did it. And then you just keep going, right? That was my experience when I started losing weight. So give yourself that 10 minutes. And if you struggle with perfectionism like I do, remind yourself that progress is the goal, not perfection. Progress, not perfection. Keep that in mind. I have to tell myself all the time, I am a freaking perfectionist and I am my own worst critic and I beat the shit out of myself when I mess up or I make the smallest mistake. My anxiety will heighten because I can't, there's no room for mistake. Well, guess what, guys? We are human beings and we are going to make mistakes. Mistakes is how we learn. Mistakes is how we grow. They're teachable moments. They're not doom and gloom. It's never going to be perfect. But taking the steps to do it, even if you make a mistake, well, now you just learn how to do it differently or found a way or found out what you were doing originally didn't work for you. And you navigate through it and you figure it out and you progress forward and the progress will come, right? So just remember, it's progress, not perfection. And just give yourself small little goals, taking small action steps. Now, overcoming self-sabotage isn't about being perfect. It's about being aware of making intentional choices. And I'll say that again. It is about being aware and making intentional choices. With every choice that you make to work toward a specific goal, make sure that there is good intention behind it. So, what's one self-sabotaging habit that you can break? What are you ready to break, guys? What are you ready to break through with self-sabotage? What are you looking to change here? What is that one habit that you find yourself having on a daily basis that's self-sabotaging? I want you to message me and tell me what you come up with. Share with me. Email me. Find me on Facebook. Find me on LinkedIn. Find me, go to my website and book a call with me. And we can chat about this. Let's look at this. And I would love to be able to try to help get to the root cause and help you proceed forward. Now, and if you find me on social media and find me, tag me on your social media. Tag me, write a post and about what you found to be beneficial for you in this episode. What's helped you? What do you find is going to help you move forward and shift things for you? And tag me in that post so that I can see it and I can celebrate you. I'd love to hear from you. And like I said, you can find me on Facebook, Lori A. Murphy, Empowerment Coach for Women. My website is lorimurphycoaching.com. My email is M as in Michael C empowerment at gmail.com. I'll put all my links below. And don't forget to join the free community, She Thrives Together. It's an awesome community of growing women. There's a lot of love and support. And I always encourage you to engage and share your wins and just really be a part of the be a part of the community so that we can celebrate you, so we can love you and support you and, be there for each other because that's what community is for. Um, and if this episode resonates with you, share it with a friend who needs it too. Put it on your social media, send it to, send the link in the, in their DMs. Say, hey, this may be something that you will find a lot of value in. And they can reach out to me too. But until next time, stay focused, stay committed, and keep kicking ass because you deserve it and you are worth it and you got this. Thank you so much for listening. And I will leave you with this: let go of fear and let your spirit shine.